So you made some waves this past week by going very hard in the paint, asking what is an American and who should be allowed to serve in Congress. And I just want to back up here and give you an opportunity to architect what you believe about those questions. Who should serve in Congress? What should be the legal terms upon which you can represent the United States of America in our government?
Well, thanks for having me. Look, when our framers created the Constitution, they had a few rules to serve in Congress. They said you had to be 25 years old, you had to be in America so long. But one thing they never anticipated is the idea that foreigners might be able to get elected to Congress, that people who hold citizenship in multiple countries might be able to be elected to Congress, to people who served in the military in other countries or have sworn an oath to put those other countries first might be able to serve in Congress. We've got dozens of people in Congress today who may be citizens of foreign countries. We know about over 30 who were born in other countries and certainly were citizens of those other countries at times. But then there are others who were children of foreigners when they were born in America, who maybe have foreign citizenship as well as those who were naturalized in other places. And so I've put forward something that frankly is controversial, but shouldn't be, that says only only citizens of America should be able to serve in Congress. If you're a citizen of another country, whether you were born there or whether you naturalized into it and you refuse to give up that citizenship, you should not be able to serve in Congress. And when you look at some of the most problematic members of Congress that we see today, the Ilhan Omars of the world, the Delia Ramirez's of the world, the Jayapals of the world, all of them have ties to foreign countries, ties that may include citizenship. And I simply don't think we should have that in the United States Congress.
A couple follow-up questions to that, because that just stunned me to the core. You say there are 30 members of Congress that have potentially dual citizenship?
Well, there are 30 who were born in another country. And so theoretically, when they were born in that country, they became a citizen of that country. They're not natural born Americans. Now, they may have become American and they could have chosen to forsake their citizenship in those countries. What's remarkable is we don't even know who the dual citizens are in Congress unless they choose to tell us. But so, for example, Ilhan Omar was a citizen of Somalia. She was born in Somalia. She came to the United States. She has publicly said that she puts the interests of Somalia over the interests of the United States. So we can assume that she's a dual citizen, but we don't know that for sure. But she was a citizen of Somalia at some point, if she's not today. And the question is, if you're a citizen of Somalia and the United States, you can't swear an oath to protect and defend two countries. One of them has to come first. You can't serve two masters. So my bill is very simple. You can only be a citizen of the United States if you want to serve in Congress.
Kind of remarkable. How could anybody ever argue against that? And what would, it is indefensible. How could anybody ever go to the floor and I guess I could come up with it. You could chat GPT this thing, right? Like, aren't we a melting pot? Blah, blah, blah. Nobody, like, that day it's not 2012 anymore, bro. Right? Like, Obama's not president anymore. Nobody believes that. And everybody sees exactly how pernicious these ops are in order to bring foreign influence into our country. And it's obviously a huge problem. I think that many people have rightly noted. And I think it's going to be a huge problem going forward. Yeah. What would even be the defense against this? How could anybody ever argue against this?
I don't know. There is no good argument against it because, by the way, I would note that in a person who was born in another country, immigrated to the United States, became a United States citizen, but still a citizen of the foreign country, they could simply forsake their citizenship and they would still be eligible to serve in Congress. So there is no good reason for this. There's no argument that says a foreigner should be able to serve in the United States Congress. I can think of no argument. And the way that they will keep this from happening is by keeping the bill from being heard. And certainly in the Senate, where the Democrats won't vote for anything that makes sense, they actually want to increase foreigners in the United States. They want illegal immigrants to be able to vote, let alone legal immigrants. That's where the issue we're going to run into is. But I would challenge anyone to give me an argument for why a dual citizen should be able to serve in Congress. There is no analytical justification for it.
You're Jewish, and you've obviously, go hard in the paint on social media for some of the issues that many people would call Zionist. Does this apply to Israel as well?
Absolutely. Part of the reason that I said I would file this bill is I got tired of being accused of being a dual citizen. They're like, oh, you put Israel above everywhere else. I'd never even been to Israel till I was in my 30s. I'm not a dual citizen. And by the way, as far as I know, not a single member of Congress who's Jewish is also a citizen of Israel. But we do have many dual citizens in Congress. And I thought, who better to advance the idea that you can't serve two masters? Who better to advance the idea that you can't be a dual citizen and serve in Congress than someone who's actually accused of it falsely all the time? And that's why I put forward the bill.
It's strong. What about foreign lobbying in Congress? I know this is a huge problem. You just got up there. I think many people see this. I also see this from an influencer perspective as like a major issue. I think foreign governments realize they can purchase real estate in a lot of different influencers, and I view this as a huge problem. Obviously, everybody in this space has seen this get accelerated exponentially, and it's important to know that like the people that are advocating and arguing with really big voices on either side of anything are doing so with clarity of heart, and that they are doing so for the interest of America and not some foreign nation. I think that's also critical.
Well, I think one thing we could use is a lot more transparency. So, for example, you talked about influencers. The content model doesn't work the same way it did. CBS News, ABC News, you knew who paid for them because you could look and see who the advertisers were. Now you have many influencers who are simply taking money from overseas, but
Yes.
we don't actually know that. So a piece of legislation that I've been working on would require anyone involved in politics to disclose who's giving them money. I have to do it right now. Anyone who gives me money, I have to disclose who gives it to me. And you can criticize me or celebrate me however you want, but you can see who has supported my campaigns. The same thing should happen in the influencer world. It should also, frankly, happen in the protesting world, where people have been able to conflate unpaid protesters with paid protesters, and we don't actually know where the money is coming from. The last thing I think we need to really be focused on is the pernicious influence of foreign governments in social media, where there are these bot farms in other countries that attempt to change the terms of the debate in the United States by affecting things over here. 30% of the comments that people make on my X account are not from America. That's people who aren't even trying to hide behind a VPN. I don't know why people in Pakistan or Saudi Arabia or Qatar are interested in what I'm doing as a congressman from Florida. But interestingly, for every one comment I get from Israel, I get 60 from one of these other countries. And that's, again, think about it, 30% of people who are commenting on my social media aren't even from the United States. I think we've got to deal with that issue as well. Foreign influence is a real problem.
Yeah, foreign influence, a massive problem. I would probably make an addendum to that to say that if you're being paid by a foreign country, that you should have to register under FARA. I mean, I truly believe that.
I agree.
If you're getting money, this is lobbyist money. You're being paid in order to influence certain segments of the American political zeitgeist. If any country that has an agenda for or against America and they're paying you, I think it's a FARA violation. I was totally in favor, obviously, of prosecuting Hunter Biden for this, because it's clearly what Hunter Biden was doing. And I think that we should put a wall up around that, because I believe it's totally duplicitous. It'd be really nice to see this. I can't. I'm still stunned that there are potentially 30 different members of our Congress that were born in different countries. But Ilhan Omar is the one who's caught your ire.